Hey, welcome everybody. This is John Palmer, Dutch Speed Selling, and this is the Raging Verbalist number 235. If you're counting, hopefully you are, and glad that you're back. If you're a constant viewer or watcher and all of that, and if you're new, welcome. Glad that you're here. We're on YouTube and, of course, Facebook with the Position to Win book group or Position to Win group. And anyway, we show up every Friday and we talk about things that are interesting, intriguing, things that are on my mind. We don't stray too much into politics, but hopefully you learn some things and have a good time. And with me, as always, to ply me with the questions that you would be asking if you were sitting right here with me, is the ever lovely Sandra. Sandra, welcome.
Hello, how are you doing?
Well, I'm doing well. Yesterday I had a knee procedure, so it's nothing like getting a big giant needle stuck into your knee. It's you never want. I never want to look down. That's one of my secrets. If you're ever going to get some injection into your knee, don't look at the length of the needle, and then don't look down while they're inserting it. It will, it will get you there. So
Yes,
doing okay. Little sore, but we're playing hurt because Raging Verbalist must go on. All right. So what is our topic? What are we talking about today?
All right, so we are talking about the 4th of July. So what are you going to do on July 4th?
Well, we've kind of gotten into a boring situation with 4th of July since we have done animal rescue for years and years and years. And sadly, this is the first time we have no doggies. Doggies are very much do not like fireworks. Cats, they get a little excited, but doggies do not. And our beloved Scout, we lost him just a little bit ago. So, let them send off fireworks. But yeah, we typically stay at home and kind of watch some stuff on television. We don't have a great vantage point of seeing things in the neighborhood. So that's what we're going to do. How about yourself? What exciting things? I mean, I know in Omaha, it's got to be a rip-roaring party. There's going to be a bonfire or something going on. What's in Sandra's life?
We're also a little boring this year ourselves, but we'll probably, go see some fireworks in the neighborhood, which is what we did last year. If there's some type of neighborhood party, we might go to that. But pretty much just hanging out at home and enjoying the time. So, yeah.
Chilling out. Okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. All right. So, what do you believe is the significance of July 4th?
I think that July 4th speaks to this thing called liberty. And I think liberty is really very important. And that some of us, many of us who live at least in the first world, but let's talk about the US, kind of take liberty for granted and don't understand how important it is. So I'm always thinking about liberty. I'm always thinking about freedom. I'm always thinking about, and to me, freedom is being able to do what you want to do. And that's really a critical way to think about it. And that's kind of where I come at it from, is that, it's not just about, eating, hot dogs off the grill or doing something like that. I mean, I that's a celebration in a way, that's a party in a way, but it's really a fundamental understanding that this is all about liberty, that significance is that July 4th, 1776 was a declaration in saying, we believe in liberty, we believe in these things. And I think that that's really important.
And what was your awakening to the significance of July 4th?
As I was growing up, I spent a lot of time, in meeting other people in other cultures, and that doesn't mean like traveling the world, but because of my European background, and a lot of people I knew never had this experience, but I discovered meeting people like the Polish club and the Swiss club and the German club, and I was in a dance group and all of that the things that we and in the US take for granted are not universal, are not part of that. And I had this kind of awakening of how important it is and how we really should hang on to those things, because I've always been, and here's the key part, becoming aware of this and then eventually becoming a small L libertarian, all had to do with people should be free to do what they want to do, as long as it doesn't hurt other people, and you're not taking people's stuff, and you're not doing this, you're not doing that. to me, that was a real opening and awakening, and saying, you know what, you really should be able to do what you want to do. And that's why for me, I say to people, hey, look, you do what you want to do, I do what I want to do, but don't take my stuff and don't impinge upon my freedoms and what I want to do.
And what was it that really pushed you over that edge?
When I started talking to people, because I started out a little political discussion, and we don't get into it too much, but I started out kind of on the left. I was really, into causes, and, volunteered at the Rocky Mountain Law Center and all of these things, and fighting the good fight. But I was really talking to people who were in the US and had gotten out of Poland and Ukraine and East Germany and other parts of Europe. And that whole Iron Curtain thing really hit me pretty hard, because here I was talking to people who, maybe just a few months or years ago, and Poland was considered at that point in time kind of open. Later on, it would get into martial law. So that's always a fun thing. And once I had that realization, and I realized how many people were trapped behind this sense that, oh yeah, this is a great system. I became an ardent libertarian, and I ditched a whole bunch of these other things, because it said, look, this is really precious. We can do what we want to do. We can go where we want to go. I oppose the nanny state. I don't need the government to tell me what to do. Let market forces tell me whether I should or shouldn't be doing something. But more importantly, don't sit there and tell me all of these things, because I've seen the command and control and what that does to people's spirit, what it does to who people are and what they're going to do. And the more I heard these stories, the more I met people who were there, and to hear what their plight was, the more I became a serious libertarian. And most importantly, understood that July 4th wasn't just, eat hot dogs and, drink a cold drink and all of that. And probably the biggest one is to realize that we had cousins who were in Poland, and they had a dirt floor, and they had a 3-room house, and they had a shitter out back. And they here under communism, they got like a chicken a month, and a ham at Easter, and a ham at Christmas, even though I know they didn't really do the Christmas thing, but hey, you can't stop them. And makes you wake up and realize, yeah, you better really fight for this, because if you don't, you're going to lose it, and that's going to be a really bad day, to say the least. So that was the stuff that really pushed it. And then the real aha moment came when, if we wanted to send something to them, send aid, send something to them, because they're very, very poor, that my father would take the money to these Polish women who would sew money into very stinky clothes, because that way the soldiers and the bureaucrats who go through and they sort it, they open every single package looking for contraband, because it was illegal to send money to these people. And that's what really pushed me over the edge to say, you know what, I'm a libertarian. Started from that point forward, and have been one ever since. But again, small L libertarian, believe in freedom of expression, freedom of belief, and freedom to go out and do what you want to do, especially in business, which brings me to the topic of, so if you want to make sure that your business is going to be successful and that you don't end up in the ash heap and you don't end up failing out there, what you want to do is pick up my book. Most businesses fail in the first 5 minutes. It just takes them 3 to 5 years to realize it, and really believe that it does only take 5 minutes to screw it up, and then you're stuck with it for a really long time. Doesn't mean you can't recover. So the book isn't just about before you start. And you can pick it up from our website, positiontowinbook.com, positionwinbook.com. Also, you can get it from Amazon, Barnes & Noble's, Books A Million, wherever books are sold. You can go get a physical copy. It is available electronically from Kindle, Nook, and Apple Books. And go check that out. And I think that you'll find that you'll have more freedom. So that is that. On the other side, if you want to think about remote work in a crazy world that we live in, and remote work is becoming a thing that we didn't even see where this was going to happen, but during the pandemic we wrote this book, and many things that we talked about which would have helped a lot of people out, well, they didn't take heed to it. And of course, in a more whimsical way, if you want to have a little bit of Raging Verbalist with you every single day, go check out and pick up the mug, the Raging Verbalist mug. everything tastes a little bit better, a little bit more of an edge, a little bit more of a bite if you go do that. All right, Sandra, so what is our next question?
All right. So how does this apply to people being entrepreneurs?
Well, I have to say that one of the challenges of an ever-growing bureaucratic state is that it makes it more difficult to start a business. We really don't have a lot of strong voices for small businesses, and it's hard to find people who are really advocates. Whenever they talk about businesses, and they're always talking about the larger businesses. By the way, for those of you who don't know it, every large business, like they're talking about all of the rules and regulations they want to put in on the internet, and they're talking to Alphabet / Google, they're talking about Meta / Facebook, they're talking to Apple, they're talking to Microsoft, they're talking to all of the big herd, if you will. They all want lots of regulations because that prevents anybody from getting there. To me, liberty, freedom is to allow that entrepreneurial spirit, because we haven't quit the invention process, the innovation process, the moving forward process. And I believe that you need to make it easier to make businesses happen and remove some of those barriers. And I can tell you the barriers can be quite immense and quite challenging. And I just went through my own version of that just in the last 2 weeks, which is why, as I'm recording this, I've got things I've got to do today because the clock is always running out. So it applies to entrepreneurs because we really should be at the forefront of not only expecting liberty, but demanding those freedoms and fighting for those, because those are so critical to make sure that we have a free and open market. If anyone tells you that there is a non-regulated market right now, just look at them and say a compound word, which is bullshit. Every industry has some level of regulation, and I'm going to tell you, it can be very burdensome. So that's how it affects entrepreneurs. On the negative side, on the positive side, let's keep fighting, keep opening businesses, keep being an entrepreneur, and fight against that storm of bureaucracy.
And how important is it for all of us to embrace freedom and what that freedom means?
If you accept all of these limitations, if you grasp that there's always this reason why you can't be as successful as you want to be, my sense is that that is your own headspace stopping you from becoming what you really could become. And therefore, you miss out on lots of things in life. The real point of all of this is that all of us, we need to be able to grab that, hold that, embrace that. We can all talk about the challenges we have. I can tell you, I fight with this on a regular basis with the number of businesses I run, but you have to embrace that freedom mindset. You have to go and do that, because the effort, doing the work is worth it. Doing the things that you need to do are worth it. And the more that you do that, the more likely it is that you're going to have a more free and better life yourself, because instead of sitting there waiting like a little bird in the nest for mom to come back with the regurgitated stuff, you want to just make sure that you are the one who is the beacon of light and showing and helping other people out. Oftentimes we get in this mindset of that, we don't want to talk to our competitors when we do that. I'm going to tell you that we're in this together. Not saying you got to be the best buddies of somebody who's taking business from you, but at least you have to send out that positive energy and extend that hand and help grow the freedoms that we all want as business owners and entrepreneurs.
And what are some of the ways to achieve freedom?
One of the most liberating occupations, vocations, jobs, skill set, whatever you want to call it, is in fact something that I've spent my career doing, which is helping people learn how to sell. If you know how to sell, if you know how to persuade somebody, get to a decision, move things along, increase the size of the pie, help them achieve something that they need to achieve and get to their goals that are out there. If you do those things in sales, what you will discover is that you have an opportunity to make more money than you probably ever thought possible, to do more things than you ever thought were going to happen. to go places that wouldn't necessarily be open to you. So to me, I think one of the ways to achieve freedom, to get to freedom, is in fact to become really good at selling and convincing people and making a cogent argument, fancy word, making something that says that, you know what, it's all worth it and we can all do better if in fact we grow a larger and better world.
And how do we embrace the sense of liberty and freedom that we have and transform every day of our life?
Whenever you get up in the morning, we all have that to-do list. And if you don't have it, well, that's a different problem. What you want to do is you want to understand that it is up to you to decide if these obstacles, challenges, and problems, the negatives, if you will, the speed bumps, the potholes, the rocks you've got to get out of your shoes, are going to slow you down. Part of embracing freedom is that we want to relish in this ability to do these things. There are people all around the world, millions, billions of people who don't have that opportunity, who are in fact stuck in a societal situation where they don't have that. So every day you have to figure out how to get a positive embrace of freedom and what you have, what we all have, that many people cannot experience. If you do that on a regular basis, if you become that positive force, if you become that person that helps other people out, what you will discover from my experience is that you will get that back in a significant way. The most important thing you can do is understand that your freedom, your liberty can become contagious, can change somebody's mindset so they can become freer in their world and see that the limits that are imposed are usually starting with their self. You know, are there things that you won't be able to do? Of course. Don't let that stop you from doing the most that you can do and becoming the best that you can be. We live in great times for those who take advantage of it. We live in difficult times because the world is changing and it's very challenging, and we know more about those things. But every day you have a decision. Do I embrace my freedom to choose my thoughts and what I want to accomplish every day? Do that, and you're going to become what they really tried to put down in writing on that July 4th in 1776 and declare independence and change the world, because that was, in all likelihood, I can't say that I scoured the planet, but from my own bias, the declaration that we are independent and we can go do what we want to do and achieve based upon the potential that we all have. Embrace that, because that changed, that thought changed the world. Because prior to that, I don't think anybody ever said it quite that way. We need to hang on to that as long as we can, and in fact, become more free every day in our own lives, our own minds, and what we need to accomplish. Do that, and I think you're going to have a great July 4th. We wish you a safe, sane, healthy, and happy. Don't blow off any fingers or anything crazy like that. Don't do crazy stuff. And if you do that, you're going to have a great July 4th. And for myself, John Paul Mendoza, Dr. Speed Selling, and the ever lovely Sandra, this has been the Raging Verbalist number 235. Go out and have a fantastic July 4th and get some magic that you hang on to each and every day.